Greetings. The first reading. They anointed Joash king and said, Long live the king. A reading from the second book of Kings. In those days, when Athaliah the mother of Ahaziah saw that her son was dead, she arose and destroyed all the royal family. But Jehosheba the daughter of King Joram, sister of Ahaziah, took Joash, the son of Ahaziah, and stole him away from among the king's sons who were about to be slain. And she put him and his nurse in a bedchamber. Thus she hid him from Athaliah, so that he was not slain. And he remained with her 6 years, hid in the house of the Lord, while Athaliah reigned over the land. But in the 7th year, Jehoiada sent and brought the captains of the Karites and of the guards, and had them come to him in the house of the Lord. And he made a covenant with them, and put them under oath in the house of the Lord. And he showed them the king's son. The captains did according to all that Jehoiada the priest commanded. And each brought his men who were to go off duty on the Sabbath, with those who were to come on duty on the day of the Sabbath, and came to Jehoiada the priest. And the priest delivered to the captains the spears and shields that had been King David's, which were in the house of the Lord. And the guards stood, every man with his weapons in his hand, from the south side of the house to the north side of the house, around the altar and the house. Then he brought out the king's son, and put the crown upon him, and gave him the covenant. And they proclaimed him king, and anointed him. And they clapped their hands and said, Long live the king. When Athaliah heard the noise of the guard and of the people, she went into the house of the Lord to the people. And when she looked, there was the king standing by the pillar, according to the custom, and the captains and the trumpeters beside the king, and all the people of the land rejoicing and blowing trumpets. And Athaliah tore her clothes and cried, Treason! Treason! Then Jehoiada the priest commanded the captains who were set over the army, Bring her out between the ranks, and slay with the sword anyone who follows her. For the priest said, Let her not be slain in the house of the Lord. So they laid their hands on her, and she went through the horses' entrance to the king's house. And there she was slain. And Jehoiada made a covenant between the Lord and the king and the people, that they should be the Lord's people, and also between the king and the people. Then all the people of the land went to the house of Baal and tore it down. His altars and his images they broke in pieces. And they slew Matan, the priest of Baal, before the altars. And the priest posted watchmen over the house of the Lord. So all the people of the land rejoiced, and the city was quiet after Athaliah had been slain with the sword at the king's house. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. Our responsorial psalm is from Psalm 132. The response: The Lord has chosen Zion. He has desired it for his dwelling. The Lord has chosen Zion. He has desired it for his dwelling. The Lord swore an oath to David. He will not go back on his word. A son, the fruit of your body, I will set upon your throne. Response: The Lord has chosen Zion. He has desired it for his dwelling. If your sons hold fast to my covenant and my laws that I have taught them, their sons in turn shall sit on your throne from age to age. Response: the Lord has chosen Zion. He has desired it for his dwelling. For the Lord has chosen Zion. He has desired it for his dwelling. This is my resting place from age to age. Here have I chosen to dwell. Response: the Lord has chosen Zion. He has desired it for his dwelling. I will make a stalk sprout up for David. I will prepare a lamp for my anointed. I will cover his enemies with shame, but on him my crown shall shine. Response: the Lord has chosen Zion. He has desired it for his dwelling.
Dear viewers, I welcome you to Uganda Catholic Television. I'm Reverend Father Aloysius Alex Dumba, Vice Rector at Kiwamirembe Catholic Shrine. Today, Friday, in the 11th week, where treasure is, there your heart will also be. The greatest treasure is God. And the greatest treasure man can ever give God is a heart. The very reason as why in Mass we say, lift up your hearts. And we say, we have raised them to the Lord our God. In the month of June, Mother Church gives us to meditate upon the Sacred Heart of Jesus. Jesus offered his heart. Water and blood gushed forth from his side. The church was born. In order for the true church to be sanctified and washed away, we must deepen our souls. We must dip them in the ocean of mercy. So, every time we come before God, God must be our first priority. When I wake up in the morning, the first thought must be on God. When I go to sleep, the last thing I must think of must be God. But there are so many things that have taken us away from the presence of God. And these are taking us like lust. Number one, the body. With the bodies, there are so many things we do in body, and we forget about God. Galatians chapter 5, verse 19 to 21 talks about the desires of the flesh. Number two, that has taken us from taking God as our first priority, they are false prophets. They promise so many miracles. Yet in the Catholic Church, we don't so much focus on miracles. We focus on mysteries. That's why in Mass we say the mystery of faith. We proclaim your death, O Lord, and we profess your resurrection until you come. It is a miracle. It's a mystery. It's not a miracle. A miracle is a sudden happening. But after some ample time it ceases. Jesus raised Lazarus, but Lazarus died again. But the mystery of his faith that was prophesied by the prophets, and up to the end of the world, it has effects on all the people that are on earth. So let's not be taken up by false prophets. For when you read 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 3 to 5, these are not followers of God. They follow their own appetites, as it is in Romans 16, 17 to 20. Even Colossians chapter 2, verse 8 talks about false prophets. These have misled so many people that are looking for miracles, not meditating upon mysteries. Number 3, the world itself. When you read the first letter of St. John chapter 2, verse 15 to 17, if you follow the desires of the world, then love of the Father is not in you. Number next, it is the devil itself. The first letter of St. Peter, chapter 5, verse 8 to 10. The devil is prowling around looking for somebody to devour. Resist him in prayer. So dear friends, can we resist the devil when we pray? And the letter to the Romans chapter 12, verse 1 to 12, St. Paul says, persist in prayer. Number last, that takes us from the presence of God. And God is not our first priority. It is the advanced technology. Modern people sleep in Facebook and wake up in WhatsApp. They're forgetting all about God. So today Jesus is telling us our treasure and the greatest treasure must be God. And where our greatest treasure is, our eyes ought to be. We need to pray for the grace that we seek first the kingdom of heaven, then the rest will follow in line. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.